All right, hey ladies and gentlemen, davidgirrbach here. Just wanted to give you a quick little briefing from this book right here, The Science of Success, okay? This book was written, just to give you a little history, this book was written by Wallace Wattles back in 1910. And this particular version right here actually includes 3 of his, they call them prosperity classics. So it's got The Science of Getting Rich, it's got The Science of Being Well, and it's also got The Science of Being Great. So 3 books in one. But the part I want to focus on, which I think is just so important, is the first chapter in The Science of Being Great. All right, in chapter 1, he titles this, Any Person May Become Great. All right, and it's so true. We have abundance available to us. We have so much available to us, and we don't always take the initiative to use that great power that we have at our command. And a part of what I do, the life coaching, the performance mindset coaching, is taking personal initiative so that you get the very most out of who you are, right? That's the basis of it. We've got tools that we practice. We've got, writing and practices and gratitude practices, all different kinds of stuff. But it's all designed to help you take advantage of your personal greatness, whatever it is that you're doing. That's the performance mindset, teaching you how to get the most out of yourself. So in this chapter, I'm going to read some of the sections of this to you just to kind of prove the greatness, the power that we hold in our hands. Okay, so he starts off right in the first sentence. He says, there is a principle of power in every person. By the intelligent use and direction of this principle, a person can develop their own mental faculties. And then he goes on to say, they are in connection with the reserve power that is without limit. We do not know where the boundary of mental powers in a human being is. We do not know the limit, is what he's saying. And he even says, we do not even know that there is a boundary. So basically he's saying in that first part that we have powers that are beyond belief. If you look at history, anything that any person has ever achieved, there's always somebody that comes along and does it greater than that person. I mean, am I right? It doesn't matter, like when the first person became a millionaire, somebody came along after that and became a billionaire. And now we're looking to see the world's first trillionaire. That's on the money side of things. Let's look at the 4-minute mile that they thought was physically impossible for somebody to run. And Roger Bannister back in 1956 ran the first mile in under 4 minutes. And then after that, only 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, 10, 12 other people came forward and ran that same mile in under 4 minutes. Now, 10 years before that, they thought it was physically impossible for a human being to run a mile in under 4 minutes. Like, nobody could do it for 10 years. And now here, Roger Bannister comes along, he breaks that record. Now the 4-minute mile is common. Like, everybody can run a 4-minute mile these days, Now we're down to like 3 minutes and I think 40 seconds for a mile. But we just continue to become greater in everything that we do. Someone always comes along and proves that there is no limit to the human being. The next part that he goes into in the book here is he talks about the power of conscious growth, which is so important. Like, we are designed as human beings to grow. The purpose of life, he says, is for man or a human being to grow. Just as the purpose of life for trees and plants is to grow. There's no stopping growth. Things grow in nature along lines that are set. We can grow along lines that we choose. It's very important to get that recognition between the natural world and the world of the human being. He says, man is formed for growth, and he is under the necessity of growing. It is essential to his happiness that he should consciously advance, meaning choosing our own ways that we want to advance. Life without progress becomes unendurable. So what that says is that to lead a life where you don't grow is absolutely unendurable. You feel unfulfilled. You feel devastated. You feel like there's no purpose or meaning in life if you're not living a life of growth. And then he goes on to say, the greater and more harmonious and well-rounded your growth, the happier you will be. That is a key point. That is a key takeaway right there. Well-rounded growth. Harmonious growth is the key to happiness. And he goes on to say, there is no possibility in any man that is not in every man. And he's referring to men and women alike. There's nothing that's inside me that's not inside you. There's nothing inside the greatest people in history that's not inside you. He goes on to say, every man comes into the world with a predisposition to grow along certain lines. And growth is easier for him along those lines than in any other. And what he's saying right there is very important. See, we all have like a certain thing that we want to do in life. We all have a certain way, a certain path that we want to follow in life. Some people like to focus on financial endeavors. Other people like to focus on athletic sports. Some people like to focus on service-oriented positions. We all have this natural passion inside of us. And in the Unbeatable Mind, we use an exercise called the 3 Ps. And if you want to find out more about that exercise, just drop a comment down below where you can message me, or you can go on my website and you can message me there to get a hold of that. But the 3P exercise, we look at our passion, our purpose, and our principles. And we identify what we're strongly passionate about. And that helps us look at our principles and define what our principle center is. And then from there, that helps us define our purpose and what we look at. So in this line, he's saying, growth is easier for you along those lines, meaning that, when you find out what you're passionate about, when you're doing what you love every day, that's where you're going to see the most growth. That's where you're going to see alignment and purpose and principle-centered living that actually makes you happy. And he says, everyone will become something worthwhile, something rare, something perfect. You will become something perfect in your life if you just focus on what you're passionate about. He talks about the principle of power. That there is genius in every man and woman waiting to bring forth. Right now, if you're not feeling like you're at a great place in your life, there is genius inside of you. If you're feeling down right now and you're watching this, remember that there is genius inside of you right now that is just waiting to come forth. You just have to find it, like digging for gold in the earth. The gold is not, you can't see the gold from the surface, but it's under there. And your job in life is to bring that gold forth. You have gold inside of you. You have purpose inside of you. You have genius inside of you. Right here, he defines something that I think is really great, and it's something that is often overlooked. He says, a great person does small things in a great way. That is a key point. I want to repeat that. I want you to get that. I want you to remember that. A great person does small things in a great way. See, we look at a lot of things in life, small things especially, as that they're not important. There's a huge focus on it. I hear and see people say that all the time, that it's just a small thing, so I'm not going to do it very well. I'm just going to breeze over it. And then when big things come, then I'll do those perfectly. See, but that's the opposite of a great person. A great person does small things in a great way, and therefore when they do big things, they do them in a super great way. So that's so important to remember. The little things are what make up the difference in a person's life. There's nothing bigger than the little things. And then I'll close it up with this part right here. He says, there's no greater good can come to any man or woman than to become self-active, meaning taking action. All the experiences of life are designed by Providence to force men and women into self-activity, to compel them to cease being creatures of circumstance and to master their environment. Right? So he's saying there that we are designed, that Providence, if you want to look at it as the greater good, the universe, God, whatever term you use to define it, I use the term God. He's saying Providence is designed to force men and women, to force you to get outside of that comfort zone that says you are a victim of circumstance, and then you can master your environment, right? Because when we take on this mentality that says that, oh, I'm just a creature of circumstance, I don't have any control over my life, you're giving up your personal power. You're actually giving up the only thing that you have control over, which is your right to say, hey, I can do something about my attitude and myself. I can't change the world. I can't change all these things that are going on. But you have power over yourself, and that you can change. You can change it by changing your attitude. You can change your lifestyle. You can change your choices. You can look at different things that you're doing in your life and say, hey, this is no longer a healthy activity. This activity is no longer helping me grow. So I got to get rid of it, and I got to replace it with a better activity. That's so important. You are not a victim of circumstance. You can make choices in your life, and therefore you master your environment and you become the master of yourself. You become the master and the captain of your own soul. And he says here, I'll close with this, nothing was ever in any man or woman that is not in you. So if you're listening to this right now, just know that there's nothing that was ever in any human being that's not in you right now waiting to come forth. No man or woman had ever had more spiritual or mental power than you can attain, or did greater things than you can accomplish. You can become what you want to be. It means you have the power to become anything that you want to be. And this is what I call becoming unstoppable. When you tap into what you love in life, that work that you are designed to do, the thing that you were put on this earth to do, the thing that you're passionate about, the thing that you would do for free every single day if you didn't have to worry about money or anything else, right? There's something that you would do every single day for free, and that is your work, that is your passion. And when you tap into that, you become unstoppable. And I want you to think about that as you're going through your life, thinking about the things that make you happy, the things that don't make you happy. Now, don't use it as an excuse to get out of disciplining yourself, because there still will be a certain level of self-discipline that needs to take place in your life to hone a skill or to get better at something or to practice something. But if you will continue to practice that, you will tap into the self-discipline, and that will tap into the power that you have in you that's in every person. That one that controls your attitude, that makes you the captain of your fate, the one that brings you to that level. I want you to think about that as you're going through your day today. Click me a comment down below. If you like this video, subscribe. If you want to see more content like this, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can get more of my videos. And if you want any more information about performance mindset coaching, you can go to my website, davidgirrbach.com. And we have a lot of different things that we're doing within the Unbeatable Mind program designed by U.S. Navy SEAL retired Commander Mark Devine. We're always doing new events and new things, so you can find some of that on my website as well. And remember, you are unstoppable. There's nothing that you can't do that any other person has done. I'm Dave Gerbach. And I want to see you break the mold. I want to see you redefine yourself. And I want to see you discover your best self in life. And no matter where you're at, I want to see you take it to the next level.